Hello and welcome to the video. So today we are here on Gale46, aka a little new baby account. The reason we are here is because in the last couple of days, I've had a lot of comments referring to helping beginners. Some people just simply don't understand, or they're like, hey, where do I put these runes, yada yada. I'm here to help you, and I think the best way to do it is have this little baby account that we can just kind of like slowly go through. I'm going to still be focusing on my 3-star, that's going to get the priority, but I will play on this a little bit. So we can go through everything, and I'll try to be as detailed as possible on all the important things, and I'll try not to make everything too complicated, right? So you're starting out, your account probably looks like this. It's level 10, whatever. You might get your fair share of monsters. I have a lot of monsters sitting in here, and some in here. But in the beginning of the game, I think the very first thing that you should try to aim for is beating scenario. Get through scenario and get all the nice little prizes that the game has to give you. You'll see all the prizes up here. If you're on this screen, you'll see all the way in the top right, there's quests and the little chest. You click on that and it'll show you what each reward you get for completing every scenario. And at the end, you see there's a nice little legendary scroll waiting for you. Now, while beating scenario, I suggest you follow Summoner's Way. Summoner's Way gives you tons of amazing rewards. In the beginning, it may seem like lackluster rewards, just tons of energy, mana, the occasional crystal reward. But as you continue to progress through here, you'll get better and better rewards. You're talking about mystical scrolls, Rainbow Mons, a legendary scroll, more Rainbow Mons, yada yada, tons of scrolls. And these scrolls will be they're obviously very good. You want to summon. That's the whole point of the game. It's Summoner's War. So you're going to want to play. And plus, beating it will give you 750 crystals and a cool little sticker. But if you look at the mission titles carefully, especially if you see like what I'm on, it tells me complete Hydaeni Ruins, clear Giant's Keep B1, obtain Essence of Magic, and it keeps telling you to do all these things. Clear Faymin, clear Eden Core, get some arena points, all the way up till clear Chiruka Remains, which if you ended up seeing it, Chiruka Remains is the last scenario on here. So complete Summoner's Way while doing scenario. Get yourself tons of rewards. Get through this little first part. But it's not just about the rewards. It's also about the locations that are very important. It's very important to unlock these locations as early as possible. And I'll explain why. So very first thing is getting all the way to Kabir Ruins and completing Kabir Ruins will unlock you Kairos Dungeon, which it's very important to get to Kairos Dungeon because you're talking about you'll get the Hall of Essence or Hall of Magic and Hall of Light and any of the essences. The Giant's Keep, secret dungeons. And Giant's Keep is obviously important because you want to get runes. Secret dungeons are important because those will give you monsters that you might not normally have access to. And essences, which will allow you to awaken your monsters. So it is very important that you, at the very least, get to Kairos. But if you're going to be playing the game at all, you're going to get here naturally. The next place that you do want to unlock is Faymin Volcano. Faymin Volcano is very famous for its leveling spots. This is where people sit here all day and they level up monsters and evolve them and get them to 6-star. It is the best place to farm monsters. The reason this is, and the reason that you farm here in Faymin and not like further stages, it has a good energy ratio. So it's like you're more off. What was it? It costs the least energy. You can clear it faster and you get a lot of energy back. So Faymin Volcano is pretty much the best place. You can look it up too. You can look up all the research that people have done, but it's the best place to level up monsters. Even though, yes, you would technically get more XP from Chiruka Remains, but the monsters in Chiruka Remain are much tougher than Faymin Volcano, and you clear it slower. So in terms of like time and all that stuff, Faymin Volcano is better. So I'm not going to go too much into it. If you want to know more about it, you can definitely Google it. Literally just Faymin Volcano, Summoner's War, and it should bring up a lot of Reddit threads. But you're also wanting to unlock Trial of Ascension, Rift of Worlds, and other stages that we don't see here on our screen, but mainly Dimensional Hole. Now, this is something I look into anytime I start an account, is getting through scenarios as fast as possible so I can unlock Dimensional Hole. Because Dimensional Hole has its own type of currency, and Dimensional Hole is a place where you can secondary awaken monsters. Secondary awakened monsters are super powerful monsters that originate from 3-star monsters. So you've probably seen this monster, Elucia. You probably have her in the beginning. Elucia can be secondary awakened into a monster, and you can only get her that secondary awakening XP in the Dimensional Hole. Now, like most things in the game, Dimensional Hole has an energy, right? It has its own currency. Dimensional Hole energy. Now, obviously, you start off with 100 energy. There's no way to increase the max storage of it at the moment. They might increase it in the future, but at the moment it's 100, and you can only refresh 1 energy every 2 hours. I believe that's exactly what it is. So, in my opinion, you're wanting to get through scenario as fast as possible so you can unlock this place, so you can use some of the energy, so it's not just sitting there waiting to refresh. That's just my opinion, though. It's not something that's super necessary, but for someone like me who likes to blitz through things, I want to make sure I get to the Dimensional Hole energy so that Dimensional Hole energy is not just sitting there. I want to make sure that I have used some and all that stuff. Even on my other account that we're building all these teams for, I even have, before I even made this video, I went and made sure to do a couple Dimensional Hole energy runs or 2A runs just to use some of the energy so it's not sitting there and not being wasted. So there's a lot of places you want to unlock, so getting through scenario is going to be one of the most important things. But yeah, that's pretty much what you're wanting to do in the beginning of the game. Get through scenario so you can finally start making your Giants team. Giants team, I guess, technically comes second. The very first thing, scenario, then Giants. Along the way, you are going to want to do your arena battles. Arena battles are super important. There are tons of rewards that come with your arena battles. Very first thing is, it's pretty cool to have 30 crystals, 50 crystals at the end of every week. It's not a big deal, but do note this: you shouldn't try to aim to get as super high as possible. It's going to be impossible. Once you get to Fighter 2 or Fighter 3, you're not getting past that, because that's where a lot of people who are level 50 are sitting at. You're just not doing it. I'm sorry. But along with that, you're talking about Rivals. Rivals, as you can see, gives you tons of glory points. I mean, that's the first reward, but 5 glory points and 2 crystals every time you beat them, and they refresh at least once every day. That's tons of crystals. That's tons of glory points. And it's a super easy battle. You also got the matchups here where you can fight actual players' defenses. Every time you win a battle in the arena, you get more points, which will push you further into the ranking system, which I've shown you the ranking system. The higher your ranking systems, the more crystals you get, and the tougher the fights. But again, don't worry about how your arena looks. Don't worry about your arena defense. That's something you should worry about way later down the line. Even on my other accounts, I just have I have one monster. In fact, for beginners, what I suggest is you get one monster and put it as your defense. Reason this is that you want people to beat your defense. And you're like, why would I want to lose? Well, when people attack you and you lose, it'll decrease your points. And if they decrease your points every time you log back on, all you'll ever find in your matchups are low levels like this, which should be super easy to beat. But if your arena defenses are winning, you're going to be pushed up higher, where you're going to have to face off against people like this, which, as you can see, I'm very, very clearly not fit to beat. There's no way. I would have to literally get the best RNG in the world, and even then, it would be the most difficult battle, and I still probably wouldn't win. But yeah. Another thing to note is League. League is full of people. They claim is around the same as you, but you're talking about look at these. It's like you're very rarely going to win. But League is also important because at the end of every week, they will give you points based off of your position in the league. And number 1 gets 300 points, 2, 240. You're getting a lot of glory points, which you want these glory points. So let's get into the rewards. Now you have all your glory points. You have all these sweet points to spend. What should I spend it on? Now your eyes may wander to here. Some scrolls. It's nice. Scrolls summon monsters. And monsters, we like monsters. We like summons. We like lightning. We like all that. No. Let me tell you something. I very rarely spend points on any of these scrolls. You will only spend points on these scrolls once you've bought your Devilmon and you've finished all these buildings, in my opinion. These building upgrades are way more important than the potential off chance that you get a good 5-star monster in here. As a beginner, you do not need to be buying those scrolls. Not even the light dark summon pieces. And I'm sorry, I know people are like, oh, I don't know, the light dark summon pieces are good. No. Don't buy it yet. You'll wait till much later on much later on to ever buy these. But the very first thing you should aim to buy is the Devilmon. Now, the Devilmon is 180 glory points. It's going to take a little bit, kind of, to get those glory points. But, buy the Devilmon. The Devilmon is very important because it increases the skill level of any monster by 1 when it's used. And you usually use these for 5-star monsters. If you don't know about skill ups, we will mention anything about skill ups in other videos. But, this is the number 1 thing you should buy. Devilmons are very rare. And there are only a few ways to obtain them. You can obtain them through TOA, through here. I think some guild content, maybe. I don't think so. And events, or buying them. So they're much more rare than a random mystical scroll. Which you can get mystical scrolls, I think, in Kairos. You can literally just farm done dungeons in Kairos, and you'll randomly get a mystical scroll. Next is buying stuff like the mysterious plant. And I guess the totems and all that here. These are very important because the Sanctum of Energy increases your max storage, which means more energy at the beginning of every day. Energy charging speed, plus 30% at max level. You're talking about you're getting energy 30% faster. More speed, more crit damage, attack, defense, HP. All these are very important. I think they're much more important than some random mystical scroll that's not going to really give you what you want. But, yeah, so those are the beginnings of it. But just to summarize, beginning of the game, go through scenario, complete Summoner's Way, do your arenas. And then after that, you can start on your Giants team. But, yeah. In the next video, we'll get into some more stuff. But I want to end it here. I don't want to make things too complicated. So I hope you enjoyed the video. I hope now you kind of understand what you should do as a beginner and how some of these things work. And I'll see you in the next one. Peace.